Yo, welcome back to the BST4 channel. Wayne, what's going on? What's happening, man? Listen, thank you guys for checking out this channel. I really do appreciate it. Click the like button, click the subscribe button, check out some more videos like this coming up. All right, let's jump right into it. If you got a Crown Victoria, if you got a Grand Marquis, if you got a Lincoln Town car, let me tell you something. There's a few things that's going to go wrong with the car because of age. You know what I mean? Not really off the jump, off the assembly line, but you know, your car is old now, damn near 20-something years old. So what we're gonna be talking about is, you know, real live issues like your intake manifold. Let me speak about it. Let me twirl this thing around the other way. All right, so you can get to see what I'm talking about. If you didn't watch the last video when I was talking about some other stuff, this is what prompted me to do the video, as these other cars are just going up and down the block making noise in the background. Here it is. It's gonna break right here. See this thing here? See, it's starting to lift and everything. The O-ring is chewed up and all of that, but it has a crack right there. And then here you can see that it's cracked. And that probably went inside the engine some way, somehow. All right? Do not get dormant type situation. This is the ones with the O-ring on the manifold. This ain't it, man. This is not the one to get. Make sure you get the oleum one. That's the best one. That's what everybody recommends. All right, so this is gonna go. So, you know, hold your head and wait for it, because this will go on your Crown Victoria, Grand Marquis, and your Lincoln Town car. Now, the number two situation that I've seen in most of the Crown Victorias and Grand Marquis is going to be the daggone fan situation. You know, when you turn your AC on, the fan's supposed to kick into higher speed. In most cases, some of your fans stay in low speed. Sometimes it's this situation, sometimes it's a little bit more technical. But these go a lot because they run a lot, because most of these cars are fleet cars. Again, like I said, with the Grand Marquis, this don't happen too much because there's a certain caliber of person who drives them a Grand Marquis, because it's more of a luxury vehicle. Laid back, grandpa's driving and he ain't driving nowhere except to go, you know, go down and check out some hookers and to go play bingo. That is really it. So he's good. You know, these things don't turn on all the time like that, or the civilian models, you know what I'm saying? So these are like the number two thing to go in your Crown Victoria and all of those stuff. Now, doesn't happen in the trucks too often, but the Crown Vic P71s, yeah, these be going. Now, number three is transmission. Really, that should have been number one, but I didn't want to do that. You get what I'm saying? So what happens is that, man, look, man, 9 times out of 10 with your police interceptor, man, them transmissions get burnt out because they hitting on the throttle and doing all types of nonsense, and the pump in front of the transmission starts to go. It's a pump. It doesn't last that long. You get what I'm saying? Those things go, and then you have an option. You could do a 5-speed swap if you choose. Now, you can go ahead and do this, put that in. That's a clutch pedal from a 240 SS. You can click the link above and you can see how this was installed in the Crown Victoria. And we got one in this one, and we have one in that one also. So transmission is like number three, which should have been number one, but there's no order. Now, the number four thing is going to be in the axle situation. Now, in your Crown Victoria, what's going to end up happening is the bearings are just going to go due to low fluid, or you didn't change your fluid often, because I don't at all. And you know what happens, man, a little tiny leak, you start running dry, and this starts to wear out, and the bearings start to go, seals start to go. It's just a common issue, and just seals period on the Crown Victoria. You know what I mean? Rears be going. I don't give a damn what y'all say. Y'all had a couple of Crown Victorias with a noisy rear. This one is leaking. It ain't noisy yet. That's why I don't really drive it up and down too much, because of I need to tackle that situation right there. Now, number five. Now, this is going to be some real technical mumbo jumbo stuff. Sometimes there's a heater hose that's behind here that causes some issues here. Now, you can't see it. It's this one here. All right, this hose over here that goes back here. It leaks, and that goes behind and runs all the way to the water pump in the front. That hose sometimes get corroded over the years, and it starts to leak and causes a problem that you can't even see because it's underneath the intake manifold, and that runs right in there, and sometimes that is corroded and leaks. And that really goes for the older models, because, you know, behind there with the water and the salt, it starts to corrode and blah blah blah, and that becomes an issue. Now, also the next one is going to be your heater core. Now, this doesn't happen on the Crown Vics too much. I notice on the Lincoln Town cars and the more luxury models like the Grand Marquis, those have a serious issue. Mainly the high fleet, high mileage Lincoln Town cars, they really leak. That is like the #1 thing. If you have a Lincoln Town Car, that is more aimed towards the Lincoln Town Car versus any of the other models of the Panther. Those heater cores just leaking those just constantly. I talked to a lot of guys who drove those cars for fleet, as far as like with limos and stuff. He said that was the main issue, transmission and that, and they normally get rid of the car because of that. I think we're at #7 now. Somewhere around there. I'm losing track of all this stuff here, but I'm just giving you guys this the information. The next thing, I think #7, is going to be the throttle position sensor. Now this goes every once and again, and you know, it gives you an erratic type of throttle response. You know, you can clean the throttle body and everything, check it out, but you know, this will cause some issues. Now, many of you guys may have a different version, which is more like this. Same goddamn throttle position sensor. It didn't change. So if you think it changed, it didn't change much. It's just the fact that you have a drive-by wire situation. You guys, you keep telling me, no, that's man, it's a drive-by wire. Goddamn, plug it in. That's how you know what I'm saying. Throttle position sensor, sometimes that goes too. Since we're right in the middle of the car, and then we're going to talk about the alternator. That should have been somewhere around #2, 3 or something like that. Alternator will go on your Crown Victoria. It's just because of age, man. It's just old, and it just, after a while, it starts to just go. I think where we at, that's #8 or 9, 8 or 9, whatever. Alternator, that's just typical. Now, I'm giving you something else that people really don't talk about. That goddamn power steering pump. That power steering pump goes. I had a few Crown Victorias and they went already. That is like a common issue that you have to deal with. But me, I'm going to eliminate that issue, because you guys see on the other video, I'm going to be getting this thing here ready. I haven't gotten it ready yet. I got to go to the shop and get this plumbed up and everything, and I ain't gonna be having no power steering issues at all. Just in case if I do decide to coyote swap, I'm good on power steering. That's not an issue. Now, this should have been #3 or 4 or 5 in between there and everything. Coil pack. If you guys have a certain misfire, you just got to get your scanner tool out, and you need to have a scanner tool. Please, if you buy a Crown Victoria, first thing you do, you buy the car and buy a scanner tool, so you'll be able to scan your car every now and again to check and see what was going on, so you don't have to take it to the shop all the time and they tell you some bull crap. All right, so the next thing we're going to be talking about is coil packs, because of a misfire. 9 times out of 10 is one of the two things: injector is bad, or the coil pack is bad, or these plugs are bad. I had a situation with my wife's truck over there that had a bad plug, and the guy sold it to me. He thought it was something crazy. They couldn't figure it out. I figured it out once I got home. It was the plug, and I put the plug up and everything was good. Then after a while, coil packs started to go on the regular because of the intake manifold is leaking. Ta-da! We talked about that. That's a common thing with those cars, man, because of that plastic composite situation. But like I said, coil packs are the issue, and make sure you change them to Motorcraft. You don't have to get XLs like I went and got. Don't need to get all of that. Get the Motorcraft joints. They work the best. And make sure you use Motorcraft plugs, or if you choose to get some champions, make sure you get the triple platinum, quadruple platinum, whatever, which ones they are. Get those, man. Make sure you have them. Now, the next thing that does go, I should have talked about this during the video, your rack and pinion. It's going to leak. It's old, bro. It's going to leak. That's what it is, man. I mean, they do have this part number here. If you choose to change your lines, if you bend them by taking them out, that's the part number right there. And in this one here, here's the other part number right there if you need to have it for your rack and pinion. This is what you're going to need, man. They leak. Get you some boots, get a brand new one, whatever, remanufacturing. If you're using the same one and you dent these lines, again, here's the part number for you. Check it out, screenshot it, do what you got to do. Boom. All right, here's the other one. There you go, guaranteed. Boom, and you're good to go. Your rack and pinion will definitely go. Also, your power steering pump will go. Just want to remind you on that. Power steering pumps guaranteed to go on your Crown Victoria. So, man, also too, a catalytic converters on your Crown Victoria do go.
Priuses contain more materials inside that catalytic converter than any other vehicles.
Which is why he isn't shocked to hear Sacramento County Sheriff's Office found nearly 2,000 of the converters along with $300,000 in cash in Elk Grove this week.
Either on this side or that side. Mainly it'd be on the passenger side that I see. It starts to heat up real bad and it starts to clog up the situation and it gets things messed up, and it's two reasons why it happens. Now you go to this head here, you see the valve stem seals here, they start to leak inside of the exhaust chamber, and as the pressure goes out, it goes out the exhaust side, and you see all of this stuff right here. This definitely was leaking. Now on the combination of that, this same engine here, they had a daggone coolant leak, so they had a lot of stuff pouring inside, and I'm sure the cats were starting to get clogged anyway. How could I forget this right here? On your Crown Victoria, you need to clean these out every once in a while. Sometimes these go bad, but mainly they just get dirty. You can just clean it out and you can just get it rebooted back up into spec. This will happen to your car, and it may throw a code. You may think it's a TP, you may think it's a daggone coil pack, you may think it's the plug is getting foul, and it can be all the above, but things do happen. The computer cannot test anything happening internally, like head gasket and stuff like that. They just show you that it's a misfire, and then you have to go on from there and figure everything out, like compression tests and everything like that. So, like I said, man, a lot of these things happen to the car, but it doesn't mean that the Crown Victoria or Grand Marquis or Lincoln Town Car are crap cars. They're not. So, man, thank you guys for watching this episode of Build Something TV, man. Hope you guys were enlightened. Share this video with your friends on Facebook or IG or anything out there. And also, too, man, if you want to donate to the channel, you can click the link in the description below to donate to the channel. If you don't choose to, guess what, man? Me and you are still cool, and we're friends, man. And I thank you for the support and even watching the video. So, we'll see you guys on the next one. All right? Later.
When we raced at Bristol, Tennessee, we slept on the ground outside of the track. My father got up that day and drove 500 miles on a half-mile track.